So you want to know how to be successful in the music business. Hey, it's Tobey here from jazzmental.com. Thanks for joining me. By the time you finish this video, you'll have a pretty clear understanding of what it takes to actually succeed in the music business. I've got 7 points to share with you. You're going to want to stick around for all of them, especially the last one. I think it's the most important one. All right, let's get started. So you want to be successful in the music business. I've been in the music business for a long time, and just to get things out of the way off the start, I'm going to share with you a couple of wins in my life. So first of all, I've been a professional musician for many years. I've made 8 albums. In fact, when you make an album for a record company, they give you one of these. No, it's not triple platinum selling, but it is kind of cool. I've also received awards. Here's a couple. And I also have a press kit. If you don't know what a press kit is, it's basically a clipping of all the articles that they write about you. And this is only a portion of it. I actually have boxes full of this. So let's just say I've earned the right to talk about this particular subject because I was fairly successful, or am fairly successful, in the music business. All right, here are my 7 really important things that you absolutely need to know. Number 1, can you actually define what success means? So a lot of people go through life and they base their successes on where they want to get, not on how far they've come. The problem with most people is they don't actually know how far they want to get. Do you know what that means to you? In the early days, my wife asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted to be a professional jazz musician. It's not that hard. Go out and get a gig, somebody pays you, that makes you a professional. Eventually, I changed that goal to being a recording artist and performing in concert halls. Now, if I had that goal a little bit earlier, I might have achieved it quite a bit faster. So just so you know, if you don't know what you want, it's very difficult to get it. So pick a goal, make sure you actually know what success means for you, because a lot of people are successful and they're still not happy. So when you pick a successful goal and you achieve it, that should make you somewhat happy or contented. All right. Just one little thing before we move forward. If you just say you want to be in the music business, that's basically a 3-step formula. Go to Vistaprint, get your name on a business card, put record producer. Number 2, go to GoDaddy, get a domain name and maybe a Wix website, cookie cutter, throw that up online. And finally, get a Google business listing, which basically they'll send you a postcard to your house, and voila, you're in the music business. That's pretty much all there is to it. That's not success. What is success? That is determined by you and how far you actually want to get. Try to remember that if you shoot for the stars, you're at least going to hit the moon. Number 2, talent is one thing. Self-discipline and honing your craft is another thing entirely. How much time are you actually spending per day on working on your craft? If you're a producer, that's great. If you're an artist, that's great. But how much time do you actually apply to that? You have to have enough self-discipline to give up things that are not empowering you and work on the things that actually do. And that requires a certain amount of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to focus on what you really want, and that definition of success, versus what you want right now in the moment. And you have all these competing intentions, so you have to be able to filter those out and focus a certain amount of time on your craft. Even at my age, I still practice 2 hours a day. I think it's important to do that because I want to remain sharp. All right, number 3. This is probably one of the things that you've never thought of before, but you absolutely have to clear out limiting beliefs. A limiting belief says that the music industry is this very strict, confined, organized industry, and all I have to do is walk in the front door of Sony Music, get into the A&R department, submit a CD to the person in charge, and basically they're going to listen to it and give me a recording contract. Well, let me tell you, Sony Music moved out of Toronto a long time ago, so you can't actually do that. In fact, my experience with the music business is quite disorganized. You're the one that has to be organized. So that's a limiting belief. How is the music business? What is it? Who runs it? Who's in charge? Those are all limiting beliefs that we really don't know anything about. So you have to clear those things out and make way for new, more empowering thoughts like, I know what I want, and I have the ability on a regular basis to hone my craft and achieve that specific goal. That's an empowering belief. All right, let's move on to number 4. I'm going to suggest that you take some courses first. Now, if you don't know how to do something, yes, trial and error is the most popular method on learning anything. It's also the least effective because number 1, it takes a really long time. And number 2, you don't actually know the errors that you're making. So go take some courses from people that actually know what they're doing. Yes, it takes somewhat of an investment, but an investment in yourself is the absolute best investment you'll ever make. You have complete control over your total outcome. So along with taking some courses, also try to be helpful. If you help other people get what they want, then you can have what you want. For example, if you choose to be a record producer, then go produce somebody's record and make it successful. And if you help them do that, I'm pretty sure that the universe will respond and give you more people to help. So those 2 things, get some advice from people who know what they're doing. And number 2, go and be helpful. That's really important. Try not to just focus on what you want. Focus on what other people want. All right, number 5. This is one that took me a long time to figure out, but I eventually figured it out, and that is different is better than better. So as a musician, I always tried to be better than everyone else. Better performer, better right hand, better left hand chords, better soloing, more complicated tunes, all of that. And the reality is most people don't care about that because you're just essentially copying what others are doing. Be different. Focus on the things that make you different. How is your style? And change the way you look at that style and things will change dramatically for you. Try not to just be like other people. If you admire other people and you want to model yourself after them, that's okay. But your style is your own and you have to determine what that is. And it's very important in the music business to be different. That's going to take you a lot further than you trying to be better than the piano player down the street. All right, number 6. And this is where it gets into the nitty-gritty of how successful you actually want to become. I've known this for a long time, but haven't actually been good at it for several years. And then eventually I figured it out. You have to build a following. What does that mean? It means that you need a mailing list of people that admire you and like what you do. And there's, of course, many ways to build that these days. But essentially, the best way is to get an email address so that you can stay in communication with your following and let them know what's going on, and also let them know that you need something and maybe they'll help you. The problem with a lot of musicians and artists is that they think that's somebody else's responsibility. It isn't really. Sure, if you get signed to a major record label like Warner, fantastic. You've won the lottery and maybe they'll take care of a lot of that. But emerging artists and artists that are unknown, this is your responsibility. And once you have a following, you can take that to a record company and they'll be like, oh, you have your own following already and it's this big? Super. We can probably multiply that by 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. And that's what record companies do. Finally, here's what I think the business of music is all about. If you want to be successful, let's revert back quickly to number 5, which is different is better than better. Part of being different is what is your story? That's what people actually care about. What makes your story unique? Where did you come from? Who did you learn from? How did you fail? What did you do that most people haven't done before? Let me give you an example. When I transitioned out of the touring business and the recording artist business in my late 30s, early 40s, and yes, I know I'm a bit older than you, but that just earns me a little bit more credibility because I've been around the block a few times. But anyway, when I got to my late 30s, early 40s, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I actually went and walked the Camino de Santiago in Spain, which is like a 1,000-kilometer pilgrimage. And then I came back to Canada and started reinventing myself by taking courses and learning from other successful people. And since then, I've built a very successful business. And I've always kept music in the background, but now I'm back with this YouTube channel and I'm trying to help as many people as I can succeed in the music business. That's a story that most people don't have. What's yours? How do you tell it? One thing I'll do is I'll post a link up here to go check out how to tell your story. It's an interesting way to look at it because that's really what people care about. That's what record companies care about. That's what the music business cares about. What's your story? Thanks for your time. Any questions or comments that you have, please post them below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're making 5 videos a week, just like this one, on various aspects of music and the music business. So I'd really appreciate it if you could come back and join me another time. Take care.